Hello, everybody. It's day 4 of 23C3. This is Saw 1. It is 12:45. Just a reminder to everyone to either turn off or silence your cell phones during the presentation. If you have questions during the presentation, please queue up at either of the 2 microphone stands and ask your question into the microphone. Our next presentation is on the role of podcasting in journalism. So I present to you Bicyclemark.
Good morning. What was the last guy giving out? Because it was full, you know? I'm giving out stuff. Yeah, I heard that. Someone in the hallway asked. No. I'm not giving out anything except wisdom, and you can't put a price tag on that. Until today. So let's see. No one here, or a handful of people, or they've never told me, or they never came up to me, no one here has ever heard of me. That's kind of cool. Or cruel, or hurtful. But that's okay, because that comes with the job. And that job, I've given it a name, and nobody likes the name. We called it Podjournalism. Let me tell you about Podjournalism. No. It's been banned by Wikipedia. Are you sitting here, Wikipedia? No, it's some editors at Wikipedia have banned podjournalism, but it doesn't matter. Because the name, in fact, doesn't matter. What it is matters more, and what we do with it. So I'm a podjournalist. I call myself Bicyclemark. We don't need to get into why I'm Bicyclemark. It's a boring story and involves bicycles. And then that was when I was in New Jersey, and in New Jersey, no one's ever heard of a bicycle anymore. They use the 4-wheel engine kind. And then I moved to Portugal. I'm Portuguese too. You just can't hear it in my accent. And I moved to Portugal, and nobody had a bicycle there either, because in Lisbon, everybody who had a bicycle is dead. Natural causes. Is that even funny? Thank you. Thank you. And then I moved to Amsterdam, and I said, oh, you know, I already have the domain name, and I had the 1,000 emails with the same name. And someone goes, so what's your thing? Bicyclemark? And I'm like, yeah, I like bicycles. And I'm in Amsterdam, so the guy's like, yeah. But so what? I stuck to the name. And I didn't know when I first started writing a blog under that name, I didn't know what I was doing. Like a lot of us who start off in what we're interested in, whatever it is, we don't always know what we're doing. We're just fiddling around, like everybody out there, I think, sometimes. Not a bad thing. I was just fiddling around. I had gone to school for journalism, and I noticed very quickly, both out of my own normal paranoias and lack of whatever, self-confidence. There's a camera. Oh, there's a camera. I noticed that it was going to be really hard, to put it in real boring terms, to get into a newspaper because I was a college student and I was too nice and I wasn't standing at that time in a hotbed of whatever, you know, be it a war zone or some kind of struggle. So I didn't feel like I could get in, you know, with newspapers, and I thought, like a lot of people, let me go on the internet, this was like 90-something, and I'll write my own news. And 10 people came to read. I was very excited. Those 10 people still read, I swear. And I used the name Bicyclemark, and I decided I would write my own sort of news stories, and so who hasn't done that, you know? What's the big deal, right? So I got to make this cooler, so I'll build up to it. In 2004, let's fast forward to 2004. I was born, and then it was 2004. And poof, I'm 24 years old at that time. You remember when you were 24? You are 24. You're never 24. In 2004, you know, you may have heard the story, maybe you haven't. I won't give you the history of podcasting per se, but you know, Adam Curry, Dave Weiner, they had a baby. No one knows. I'm sorry. No, actually, I know Adam, so I can say that. I can't. And they created the script, blah, 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 so that we can have audio and RSS. Isn't that exciting? They're excited. They're not looking. Or they're watching the feed. And so they create the script so that people like me and people like you can do podcasting. Now, you know what that means. That means creating an MP3 and saying whatever the hell you want. Some people like to talk about what they had for breakfast. I had muesli, soy milk. It's very good. A little different in Germany, but I'm figuring it out. And some people decided that they would specialize in things. They would do a podcast about cooking. Whatever it was, whatever your interest, you'd do a podcast. You've all heard this. I'm not teaching anything new. My thing, of course, just like the days when I had my 10 readers, I wanted to do some kind of news. I wanted to, again, I couldn't afford, or I was too scared, whatever. I couldn't afford to go over to Afghanistan. It's hard to get in there these days anyway. I didn't want to work for the military, although they want me to work for them. They want anyone to work for them. Anyone. I mean, anyway, it's not funny. Not funny. Military, no. Didn't laugh at military. And I got to move on from all the military jokes. So I started a podcast at that time from Amsterdam, which was cool because there weren't so many in 2004, which means I could have talked about anything and all these people came to listen. It was amazing. You know, isn't it? I don't know if anybody notices with the internet, but what was really new and cool like 10 years ago, innovative, is completely boring. So in 2004, way back, I went to a market and I started walking around and recording the sounds of the market in Amsterdam. And I got tons of email. That's so cool, man, to hear the sounds. And now, nobody gives a shit, you know. Audio of a market. But at that time, I'm telling you, those were the glory days. Then they invented the combustion engine. 2004? No, that was 2005. Right. You know your history? Okay, so let's go into this, because I got to use this thing for the people who don't want to look at this thing. I'll press a button. I said it wrong, so I don't know how much time I'm taking. So somebody go like, when I'm... I want to give you the highlights because that's a proper way to give a presentation. I was trained in presenting, and then I promptly forgot everything that I was taught. So I know you're supposed to do this. So this is what I'm going to tell you today. Highlights. And I put that picture because that was one of the most funny pictures of my life. It's not in my presentation for any other reason other than that's so funny. Okay, media. I want to talk about the media landscape that led to, you know, besides the fact that we can do things on the internet, myself, I ask, and I've noticed how things came about, why. And when it comes to media, I want to talk about the media landscape a little, not to bore you too much, just bore you enough to get you. I want to talk about the media landscape before that led to the need for this type of media, this type of, I call it a void, whatever, a black hole of information. Because there was a reason, according to me, there was a reason that things like podcasts, blogs, video blogs came forward. It wasn't only because we could. There's something larger going on. I'll show you. And now the musical. No. That would be cool. I'll work on it. Dancers, me. So I'm going to define podjournalism so that you can put it in Wikipedia. I'm banned from Wikipedia. It's so fucked up. Are you banned too? Nobody else is banned. No, everybody's banned. It's okay. I got issues. That's clear from this presentation, you know. I'll talk about examples because, you know, I could say how cool it is and all the cool things you can do and why it's important for journalism, for reporting what's going on. And people will say, so what? I've never seen anything good happen. I'll give you some real examples. There's some out there. They're fun. And eventually I'll talk about pitfalls, the dangers that I face and the dangers that any of us face, any of us who want to use podcasting and video blogging. I'm going to put those two in the same category, especially audio and video, for journalism. You know, there's a huge list of pitfalls and shit that you can step in. I will show you the shit. And of course, the future, everybody likes to talk about that. I'll tell you about my future house, kids, little bicycle mark. All right, Jesus Christ, third slide, it took me this long. I call it the media wasteland. I made that up last night. Prior to, let's say, the late 90s, I'm not going to be accurate, I'm not going to give you factoids that you can go check up and then say I was wrong. No, I'll be vague. Late 90s, we have this media landscape, and I'm talking about United States, but also Europe, and a lot of these things were repeated in places like Brazil and South America. We had a media wasteland, and what I mean by media wasteland is there was a decline from the good old days when everybody got their newspaper either to their house in the morning, which I heard is still big in Germany, pretty cool, not big in the US. You had this declining media where people no longer read the newspaper, people didn't subscribe to it anymore, people didn't watch as much television news anymore, for a number of reasons. But there was a drop-off from the height when media was like, when that channel, that CNN, was the #1 place. There was a time. Or before that, in the US, all these networks. So late 90s, okay? Let's start there. Yeah. I said that. I said that too. I'm so good. Okay, so these are my symptoms for a sick media, right? I put like 3. Anyway, you have this consolidation. And by consolidation, I mean, things eating each other and packing smaller, right? And I'm talking about media companies. So if you flip through the channels anywhere in the world nowadays, just because you go from channel 3 to 4, I'm pointing out the obvious, doesn't mean you're going to a different company. You could have 4 channels like I think we do. I live in the Netherlands, and one company seems to own like every channel. They just give you different flavors of the same shit. So you have a situation where, in late 90s especially, it had been going on for decades. Media companies are buying other media companies. Sometimes they're changing the name, sometimes they're changing the logo, but it's still the same shit. And as a result, when you do that, it's a corporate strategy. In a way, I'm talking about the corporate media, of course. And when you do that, you cut staff, of course, because you want to make more profit. So you buy up the offices in Philadelphia, you're based in New York, you go, hey, it's only an hour between offices, no more Philly office. And you journalists, you can go fuck off. And everybody else will get your news from New York. And so now you in Philly no longer get news from Philly, or if someone comes down from New York, maybe, or you hire a freelancer, which is what we all are, probably. You cut investment. I don't know if it comes later, but I'm going to do it now. Investigative reporting. There used to be these guys, I think, because I wasn't alive. But I like to imagine, based on film, I'm doing this is a hat and a trench coat and a press thing in their hat, which made it very obvious. And they would go around and dig up news. And they would take time. It was an investigative reporter. It wasn't always glamorous, although sometimes, cool with the girls and the guns. And I saw a movie. But it was an expensive thing because stories would take a couple of weeks. You didn't know. As an editor, you'd be like, hey, when's that story coming out about that crazy CCC conference? And you'd say, it's not ready yet. I'm still researching one extra piece. Have to find Tim. Tim, is he here? No. So one of the things that's been cut over the years is investigative reporting. No, that's too expensive. Yeah, you want to go find the facts, sure, and you want to dig up some scandal, but we don't really have time or money for that, so don't do that. And of course, that's one of the greatest things we have in journalism, one of the greatest tools for anybody who really wants to know what is underneath what we see. And we all love that. That's why I'm at this conference. I don't go to any other conference, ever. Ever. Thank you. And the other thing that, of course, happens, and we see this, I put Bertelsmann, I think they're German, but who the hell knows because they own so much. And News Corp, Rupert Murdoch owns News Corp. He's not even Australian anymore. I think he decided to be American. He got his card and he hangs out with Hillary Clinton. Borders don't matter anymore. These news corporations are no longer limited. They don't have a flag. They will go where they can to buy up. And they're no longer just buying up television or buying up film, they'll buy multiple types of media. You know, they'll buy, I mean, I can get real, So there we go. I think I've sat on that one enough. The other thing that happens in the media wasteland is you have the sensationalism. And we all seen it. Sometimes we get a good laugh out of it. I decided that I'm unfunny, so I'll bring something that would be funnier, and I'm going to do a little example of sensationalism. But before I do, the point was that you get this music on the news. There's a graphic, war, huh. There's no huh, but war. And then music, exciting song, and then a story, but the story has to have some guy shooting a gun. No blood, because you're too sensitive for that, we decided. But guy shooting a gun, marching, looking good, in the sand, goggles. I'm talking about war again. But there was all kinds of sensationalism. I mean, is my audio working? I'll do the audio. A pack of wild dogs attacked this young man. I was just walking and there was these wild dogs. They almost ate me.
The dogs began attacking Paul, biting at his feet, arms, and neck.
I was looking for a weapon. But there wasn't really nothing nearby.
The teenager ducks beneath this barbed wire fence, but the dogs were instantly on top of him. He manages to climb on top of a fence post and begins screaming for help. A neighbor rushes out of his home and fights the dogs off of Paul. Paul's parents rush him to the hospital, where he's laying now with gashes, bite wounds, and stitches from his head to his feet.
This was last night under, like, something important. And some of you think, well, I've been attacked by a dog. This is serious shit. Good point. But the whole running around with the camera, following where the dog went, I mean, there's a wonderful tradition of shitty journalism somewhere in here. My opinion, this whole thing is my fucking opinion. So, I almost got a clap. That other guy got claps and he had code. Eat that, code guy. All right. Oh, Tomcat. Tomcat. I'll just do it again. Tomcat. We also had the other thing in the media wasteland was that we have an excess, especially on the front page or on the front story on the television news. We have this bullshit entertainment news. And some of us talk about it in our free time like we know these people. I don't know if you guys watch The Office, the US Office. It's very good. And the other day, the girl walks in and she goes, I haven't seen you in such a long time, to some guy. And he goes, oh yeah, what's been going on with you? And she goes, Tom and Kat had a baby, and he's awesome. And Brad and Ange, Bradgelina had a baby, and she's awesome. And he's like, but what's new with you? She's like, I just told you. You know? And look, out there, not in here, because this is a fucking cool place, but out there are people who talk about this shit. And as if it's important, because it's been given to us as important. So, in the media wasteland, we have the infotainment, the news with the music and the graphics, and it's exciting. There are robots kicking each other. We don't know why. Because they can. We know. Okay. We have entertainment news right underneath real news that actually affects people's life and death, that affects, who's starving, who's being mass, killed in Sudan. I mean, it's right there. I mean, this is what I call a media wasteland. And this is true still today, but this was hugely true, of course, in the late 90s. And thankfully, at the same time, the bloggers, the podcasters, we came forward. Yay, One other thing, I put Rupert Murdoch in his shorts because he looks stupid. That's really Rupert Murdoch in his shorts. I look stupid in shorts too, but I don't own all that media. Two clapping, yes. I gotta keep track because other people got lots. Okay, so I'd said this, fucking hell. Oh yeah, this is a good one. And this is Rupert Murdoch's specialty. Besides marrying extremely young women, buying up shit all the time, like MySpace, and whatever he can buy, he's been buying Italian telecoms lately. I try and follow Rupert Murdoch, like, in whatever ways I can. Not to copy him, but perhaps to ruin him. such a noble thing. I mean, to want to ruin someone. No, I wouldn't. If I ever met him, I'd be like, sir, hello. Fucking guy. Hello. I would have a split personality like I do. And the other thing that happens with this whole, the question of profit versus journalism, which is what this is about, profit became more important than journalism, and it still is, unfortunately, in the commercial world, was that they would choose not to cover stories. I mean, for me, even as a teenager, and I was a weird fucking teenager, as you can tell, I would flip. We had this channel, Channel 4 in New York, and it was NBC. Who owns NBC? GE. GE is an energy corporation. I think they build all kinds of shit, some monitors, I think, as well. But what they really build, what they really like to build, because it brings in good money, is the nuclear, GE likes to do that. Oh, the missiles, they like to build the missiles, which when I do this is kind of like a penis, and that's what missiles are about, we know. GE builds penises. That's not in the slide. What was crazy for me as a teenager was that here I am watching NBC, and I would turn on the news because I was a sucker. I still am a sucker, but I'm smarter. And I would actually think that I was getting news, about stuff that's going on. And if there's something bad, if there's someone's hiding a secret that affects people's lives, they're going to report on it. I was dumb. What do you want? Some people did drugs. I believe the news. And what blew my mind later on was when I discovered GE owns NBC. If NBC wants to investigate, the whole industry of building missiles and getting contracts with the government, if they decide, a journalist, some crazy journalist, decides to do that, NBC will say absolutely not, and they have, and say, get that story out of here. Rupert Murdoch, Mr. Shorts, said, no one ever calls him that, he said once, I couldn't find the fucking quote, but I know he said it, I'll never forget it, he said that if he could, he would take a sledgehammer and, what was he doing? He was going to get the phone. Get the fucking phone. He was going to take a sledgehammer and destroy the wall between the news department and the marketing department at his newspapers. You remember when he said that? Fuck it, he said it. No, he actually said it. I mean, the man changes his mind a lot. Now he's a Democrat or something. But I don't care. Fuck the Democrats too. No, but that's not important, really. You can like the Democrats if you want. But he actually said that, and that reflects a lot about what he believes. I think I have a quote here. It'll come up at the wrong time. Advertising. Just one other illustration, and I saw this last night. I was like, I'm sure if I just go look, I'll find something. Front page, middle of the night last night, which was a good time to read the news. Look at that. ExxonMobil, right? So what, right? So what? But if you want to investigate, you want to talk about Exxon, what they're doing, in what country, where is it shady? This is a very John Stuart Bush thing. Where is it shady? Exxon is your sponsor. So maybe hold back. Maybe your editor comes up to you and says, maybe we don't want to cover that right now because we kind of got this big ad on the front. Now, someone who's worked at the Washington Post, like someone back there, will say, hey, they never said that to us, which is cool if they didn't. But sometimes they don't even have to say it. It's called self-censorship, and there's a lot of it. Anyway, I bring this as a slight example. Sometimes I flip through it and I find advertisements for the new F-22 fighter. And I think, what the fuck am I doing seeing an advertisement for the F-22 fighter in the Washington Post? But that's in case I want to buy one, apparently. And the other thing, okay, this is all common sense. Top down, in old media, in the media wasteland, I got to get out of this. You had decisions coming from above. All the creativity, all the ideas come from above, tell you, the reporter, what to do, for the most part. Sometimes you get lucky. And that's how decisions are made. Old style. I mean, yeah. Oh, there's Rupert Murdoch with something dumb. For better or worse, our company is a reflection of my thinking, my character, and my values. Good God, No, he's all right, he's all right. The reporter is given assignments. This is the top-down thing. I said that, good. So here comes the question. Soon we'll get to podjournalism, I swear. Filling the void, right? We have this void. People were turning off the television. They weren't watching news. If you ask people still today, I do, they'll go, I don't watch the fucking news. It's all bullshit. I don't read the newspapers either. It's all Tomcat. So we had all these people dejected from everything. And then, what? I call that a void, all right? Let's call it a void. I said that. Oh, that was the other thing, disconnection. I mean, you had meetings, and I've attended some of these. You had meetings at newspapers where people said, how do we connect with the community? What do we have to do? You know, it was like a marketing ploy. How do we have to act so that people feel like we care? Anybody see a problem there? You have to feel like we care, because that's all they wanted. And they couldn't figure it out. And the good news is we, the media, we knew. It was just being human, among other things. People also, like I said, felt like things were being kept from them. I know you had that feeling when you watched in the, what do we call this? The Iraq War? It's amazing, a war without an enemy. Anyway, the Iraq War, you have embedded journalists in bed with the military. And we all tuned in to watch them fuck. It was like, he's on a tank, go! But a lot of people also said, wait a minute, if they're embedded, then how will he be critical of them? Or how will he, you can't. So I think at that point as well, I think we really realized news is being kept from us, and that was already in 2003. So what would replace the connection of old? My opinion. Ha! Not 6 apart, necessarily. I just put that there because I'm lazy. Enter blogs, 98, whatever, 96, depending on who you talk to and who you read, and if anybody remembers. We were all teenagers then, remember? Right. So enter blogs, and you have individuals, yeah, of course, not all doing news, but you have a lot of people reporting information. I remember 2000, around there, I found the blog of an Iranian parliament member. And I was like, cool. And he wrote in English. And I was like, cool, an Iranian parliament member. What do you have to say? Because I get tired of the media telling me how Iran is insane and the whole country wants to kill me. Somehow I didn't believe it. And I go on and I start reading the blog. And of course, there we're getting another point of view. Not necessarily the point of view. We all know this. But another point of view. So you have blogs coming in, they're easy to use, we know this. Accessible platforms, easy to type blogger and put a picture, we do that. In terms of popularity, it becomes what, a word in the dictionary in like 2002? That's exciting, because I can't get podjournalism into shit. I gotta stop harping on that, yeah. You have the personal connection. People talk a lot about that now. All newspapers want a blog on their site because they want to seem human, and they heard that blogs were very human. So they want to use blogs, we're being used, to look human. But they're right about one thing. There is a real connection between the comments, people going back and forth. There's something more going on there. There's a human connection, I'm going to call it, a personal connection, a candidness, that's important. When you can actually say how you did research and what you really think as a journalist, instead of, and I know there's this tradition, instead of keeping it to yourself and trying not to have an opinion. And I don't know about you, but anytime you try not to have an opinion, you still have an opinion. And of course, conversation style, comments, forums. Some people don't like that shit, but it is a two-way road of sorts. So I want to go to podcasting, because that's why you're sitting here. I know that's why you're sitting here. MP3 Market. I'm not a marketing person, so I should be careful here. 2004, podcasting really comes, the script is made available, and you have people using MP3s. I mean, I noticed it because I'm riding my bike around, and suddenly I see people riding their bikes wearing this thing around their neck, and it's not a Discman, because that would be big, and you know that, because you had a Discman. And suddenly MP3s are everywhere. People are using them, even idiots, which is cool, like me. That's good. Call myself an idiot, then I don't seem so mean. It's good. So you had MP3s. Thankfully, more and more people using MP3s and then getting text cut off from their slide. You have programs like iTunes, which is fucking annoying, we know, but useful. And if you like Media Player, you're very special. Tech joke, tech joke, tech joke. That's all I can do with tech jokes. No, I can do more. You have all these players coming up that make it easier for people to use MP3s, and we know that they are. Okay? Reasonable size, that's useful for people who have really slow connections. If you, like me, and you spend a lot of time in Portugal, it's good that MP3s are small, because bandwidth is shit. Clear my throat. Can I have water? Okay, and you also had the rise of media on demand. It sounds like a market term, but all I mean by this, obviously, everyone's like, I know this, is that you consume stuff when you want to. I mean, we used to all give a shit what time we were home to see our favorite program. You remember you actually liked that program, Friends? No, you never liked that shit. But people came home to see television, whether it was news, whatever it was. But now, of course, we watch when we want. We listen when we want. I have this Australian public radio show that I've been putting off for like a week. But I'll get to it. And that's the beauty of media on demand. And that really came to rise in the last few years, in the last 6 years to be exact. And of course, portability, we talked about that. Fall slide. Okay, desire to be genuine. Weirdest thing about watching the news, for me, is that everything has to be perfect. I used to work for different news programs, and everything had to be perfect. You say the right thing, you look perfect, there's a makeup person, everyone has these fucking microphones sometimes, especially if anybody watch Belgian news. I do, for fun. And they're all like, it looks like a space station, and they're giving you the news. I don't know why I need to get my news from a space station, but it makes me feel good. That lady, she got the really short haircut and this microphone. Dit was het nieuws. She's so cool. And it always has to look perfect. Can I drink? Rob did that. Okay. The beauty, of course, for a lot of people, not everybody, because sometimes the shaking gets annoying, is that with podcasts and with video blogs, you have this beautiful imperfection. Humanness, because humans are imperfect. Now I'm your religious teacher. And a lot of people enjoy that to a certain extent. We enjoy getting the human side, imperfect media. You say the wrong thing sometimes, which is risky, but there's something great about being genuine. You all know about broadband because you all live off it. It goes directly into your veins. I see the IV being distributed. And there's real statistics from Pew. I didn't bring them, fuck that. But as of 2004, I declare, broadband adoption was extremely widespread, especially in Europe, depending on where you were, as long as you're not in Portugal, or Italy for that matter. A little tricky, but broadband had really reached a level where a lot of people, that's very specific, a lot of people had broadband, and as a result, of course, they can download these huge video files that are getting smaller, but they're still fucking huge, and audio, of course. So this is important when it comes to the rise of podjournalism, or podcasting, whatever. So I'll define it. I'll give it a shot. Somebody write this down. The unpolished personal research focusing on a topic using available resources. I used to go to school. The point is that regular people, whatever their expertise, can do their research. It can be polished. That's good too. But it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that each of us, wherever we are reporters. We are the media. I mean, not everybody likes this. Some people make fun of this idea, but there's something real in the fact that we can now, using the simple tools available, report what's going on. The question is, will we? I mean, that is the question. I added this. It sheds light on something happening in the world affecting people's lives. Everything that affects our lives, especially when it comes to life, death, quality of life. We like these things, right? Good. Great. One thing about podjournalism that I've always said, and is probably the reason people don't like the term, is that I say opinion has a place. And we see that with blogs anyway, and some people rightfully fear, I'll get into that, the emergence of blogs as news because there's all that fucking opinion. But part of this sort of podjournalism is that my opinion is in there, and I'll tell you, it's no secret. I'm not writing some cryptic news report that in there I'm indoctrinating you. No, I say from the beginning, I don't like that war over there, or any war for that matter. And I say it from the beginning, and then I provide you with some observation that I can make, some real facts, some real reporting. Is it perfect? Is it the one thing you should be watching for your information? No. But we all know as internet users that the days of getting all your news from one source are over. And that's a good thing, because it's a little more work for us, but a lot of us are making tools to make it easier. But the fact is to better understand what's going on around us, if we really want to know the truth. If we're happy with the story we get, then fuck it. But if we really want to know the truth, then we need multiple sources. Therefore, just because one guy gives you news and gives a little opinion too, you don't have to take it all. You can take some of it and then go watch, go read. You decide. You make the decision, right? Very simple. I mean, I'm no fucking genius. You should see my house. It's a mess. Not a mess. No, take it back. Isn't this fucking radio journalism? Oh wait, no, fucking, that's a bad habit. Isn't this radio journalism? Yes. Oh, great. It is. It's independent reporting using the same sort of spirit that we had in the old days of radio, because a lot of that, again, with the budget cuts and the priorities of radio stations, a lot of that has taken a back seat. And when it comes to podjournalism, you do not take a back seat. I mean, the front seat is what you get, because the goal is to do the reporting. Now, there are questions about how will you afford it. I don't know. No, I do. I know some things I'll try and share. I said this, objectives, criticism. I think objective reporting is a myth. Now, I know because I studied German media, somewhat, barely. Don't ask me questions later. I know that in Germany, for example, there is this fantastic tradition, and some people really believe in it, and I think there's some real proof, that journalists are very good at keeping their opinion out, or at least being really good at reporting, compared to other countries where we really fucking suck at it. Either way, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I put Global Voices just for shits. It's a good vlog. This is commercials, really. I'm corporate. Yeah. Hold on. I'm fine. I know where I am. My sister. I don't have a sister. Okay. But I say that the whole quest, like I said before, I'm repeating, you're not going to get objective. You think you're getting objective, you're not. Okay, that's it. And of course, many people, and rightfully so, especially the professionals that work in the industry and have cushy jobs, and have experience, say, this is dangerous. What you're talking about is dangerous because now there's no solid information left. It's just opinion. It's true. This is a huge risk. Be careful out there. I'm going to hide back here. I said that, so we'll go on. Bottom up. This is not a sexual thing. I'm talking about media still. When I wrote that, I was like, bottom up. Oh, never mind. Let it ride. Okay, the beauty is you don't have managing editors telling you what to do. This is very basic. I decide what I want to do. You better be a motivated person, but we're all motivated because we're here, so that's no problem. You no longer have these managing editors telling you what you should and shouldn't do, basically. I mean, that's simple but revolutionary in many ways. I was sitting with a friend. She's not here, so I can talk about her. She works for a certain German foreign service radio that I won't mention. Deutsche Welle. And it was during World Cup time. Is she here? No. It was during World Cup time, and I was here as a blogger. Very strange. And she said to me, fucking World Cup. She normally covers immigration stories about Turkish immigrants in Berlin. And she's like, man, I sat down at a meeting, and the guy, my editor, or whatever they're called, said, could you lay off the immigration stories for a while? Everybody really is excited about the World Cup. Do a World Cup story. And she was like, fuck, I can't wait till it's over. And then I said, yeah, I was just choosing to focus on what's going on with the journalists in Nepal. You know, they're really being oppressed. And she's like, how'd you decide to do that? And I was like, I heard about it, and I'm interested, you know. And, okay, she gets paid. I don't necessarily, but at that one moment, she looked at me and she was like, that's cool. I was like, yeah. You buy dinner. This side, you buy dinner. And yes, of course, the freedom to be critical and creative. I mentioned before the old, what was it, the Exxon thing or the GE thing. I can criticize GE. Yeah, I once even was invited as a blogger to Berlin by Coca-Cola, too. And are they here? Two. That means they're bad. Depending on the country, that could be positive. And I was invited by Coca-Cola, and I was like, shit, am I going to accept this? But they were offering like a good flat and a way to get to Berlin, which is good. It's a good. And I actually did a podcast criticizing Coca-Cola, their human rights record. I couldn't believe the irony. You know, they didn't even fucking notice. They still haven't noticed until today. But the point was, I wouldn't have accepted the offer, and I shouldn't have accepted the offer, that's the truth. But I wouldn't have accepted the offer if they had said, you can't do something. All they said to me was, just come, be in Berlin, do whatever you want, as long as you blog about it. And I was like, all right, criticizing you. And I did. I don't think people should follow that. It was a really questionable move. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Nicole was there. It was fun. So, okay, you guys want to know, I mean, do I have time? People who are actually doing this, okay? And then we'll get into the whole aspect of how do you survive this way, because how do you survive? Typical, what I call pod journalist types. None of these people think that they're pod journalists. Some of them think they're news people, they're reporters, but they don't use this name that I'm trying to push on the world. I don't care if the name dies, I really don't. You all know Josh Wolf. If you don't, well, you do. He's a media activist, I would call him, and he's in jail. I would say he's one of the biggest, in terms of blogging and online media, he's one of the biggest political prisoners in the world. China has some, but they don't get as much press. So I don't know if you've seen this video, I don't know if you're interested in this video, but it's cute. It's cute, it's good. I won't make you watch the whole thing. Just when I started, I stopped. Just so you know, I'm going to fast forward to the part. Josh was arrested. Someone here knows the story better than I do, but he was arrested when he filmed a protest. While filming a protest, there was an altercation with police, and there was some kind of police car that was damaged. This is the official story. They asked for his tape. They wanted to see the video. They heard he had some. They found his website. He refused to hand it over, as a journalist can. That's his work. That's his file footage or whatever. But, what? His what? Oh, in San Francisco, the People's Republic. That was almost a joke, but nobody calls it that. We say People's Republic of Brooklyn. It was in California. And, oh, this is good, so this is new for you. And he was arrested. He refused to hand over the video, and he was arrested under the conditions that he's not a journalist. And I could probably be arrested for similar. I don't particularly worry too much. Maybe I should. But, so let me show you the segment that, well, he films the protest. That's typical, but here's where it gets interesting. Go play. Go do your thing. It was during the G8 in the UK. They had a demonstration just sort of to show that they don't approve of the G8 meeting in San Fran. A lot of us have been to these types of events. I have. Looks pretty standard. Very standard. Is that big up there? Oh, yeah, that's pretty big.
Let's go! Let's go!
So, okay, normal barricades, that's not a big deal. Here's where I find it to be interesting. Yeah. And this is not why he was arrested. This particular footage, I don't think this is it. If you can't see...
No! He's gonna get abused if we don't stay here!
There's a police officer holding the guy down. Nope.
Get off of him! You're choking him! Go, move.
Get down! Beat that kid! Hey, asshole! You just walk down through the intersection. Walk down the intersection. You just trying to lynch you. Hey, cop, you're going to jail for police brutality. 1176, stop back up. Your career is over, Fajita boy.
Fajita boy.
1176.
Name for cops?
Back up.
This is weird. Note the gun being pointed at people.
Everybody, step back.
But I'm not a cop, so I don't know.
Everybody, step back. Oh,
He is not resisting arrest, and you guys are taking excessive force. And your names are documented.
your arms behind your back. You're under arrest. Stop resisting. I said get back. Everybody, get back.
It looks more like a school play.
You're shitty.
A shitty movie. It's real. Anyway, I'm not going to let it ride. The cops chase everybody away, and it's very typical U.S. In the present, unfortunately. So Josh is in jail, not even for that particular segment, but that they knew that he had put out this footage online as a journalist, as an online journalist. This is just one example of someone who's really, fighting to be recognized as a journalist. And what happens to Josh affects my life, besides the fact that I feel a connection. I watch his vlog. It's what I do. I'm going to show more videos so you can maybe keep the lights where it was. That way everyone can sleep. So let me give you some other ones. This is awesome, huh? Male circumcision. Yeah, that's not funny. Okay, I'll tell you a story real quick. In the Netherlands, bottle down. A friend of mine, macdocman.com, Michael Schaap, he used to work for public television, so it's a little fancier than most people, but he's still just another dude with a camera. And he produced a video that I'm going to show you where he talks about why males get circumcised, or why do they? I mean, anybody know? Okay, you have your theories, and there are a lot of crazy rumors going around. So he does this vlog, and it winds up affecting policy, health policy in the Netherlands. I'll show you a little bit, because this is exciting. Thanks. Go video.
Als kind ben ik besneden.
Can you read the subtitles? You want me to yell them?
Mee. Ja, en, zult u denken. Kijk, als ik de enige was, dan had u gelijk. Maar over de hele wereld worden jongens besneden. 1/6 van de mannelijke wereldbevolking.
1/6 of the male world is circumcised.
20.000 jongetjes per jaar. Kijk, over meisjesbesnijdenis hebben we allemaal een mening. Dat vinden we een barbaarse daad. Maar over jongensbesnijdenis, de oudste chirurgische ingreep ter wereld, daar praten we niet over. Een voorhuidje dat eraf gaat, zult u denken. Wat is er mis mee? Dat zal ik u vertellen.
Zeg mij dat u ook besneden bent. Klopt dat? Ja.
He talks about how, female circumcision, everybody agrees is bad. But male circumcision, no one talks about it. Why do we do it? How come so many people in the world? Etc. So he winds up, he does this vlog where he goes around asking people.
Nee, iets zegt mij dat dat zo is.
Ja, die ligt eraan de cultuur. Ja. Onze cultuur, dat moet wel.
Ja, het moet.
Ik vind ook, die is iets gezond.
Nou, dat is belangrijk.
Ja, ik vind het gezond.
Jij bent niet besneden?
Nee, als je die velletje hebt, dan blijft de viezigheid in dat velletje, snap je?
Dus hygiëne, zeg maar.
Ja, hygiëne.
Maar als je nou goed doucht?
So I'm just showing you this not to teach you because it's very interesting to watch it.
Nee.
But because this is what he does. He goes around asking people, and then he sits down with, he gets some doctors. I mean, this is a real production. I am very lazy. Sometimes I just sit home and I use stats or I'll talk alone. This is the style of a real traditional vlogger on his own. So Michael does this video. It's pretty good. I'm not going to play the whole thing. There's not enough time. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's what's interesting. He does the video, puts it up on the vlog. A few weeks later, it starts circulating among the Dutch ministers. This is how I hear it. I don't know the Dutch ministers. They're nice. Except for the one with the voting machines. Yeah, they all suck. I'm lying. And apparently it starts to circulate among parliamentarians. What happens? They change the health policy. Male circumcision no longer covered by the national insurance. All the people who like male circumcision did not clap, and that's understandable. But here's what's weird. It changed policy. That's my point, that people can change policy and we are. We're not many, but we're doing it. No, what's weird is that they then produced a new subsidy for circumcision centers to do it for really cheap. So actually he's been getting letters from families that want them going, thank you. But still, he changed health policy using the power of a vlog, personal media. Now, he's a little fancier than most people, but still, the power is obvious. Let's move on. All right, my friend Mikey Pod, I know him from Mikey Pod. You know our names, Bicyclemark, Mikey Pod, what the fuck? It's no Walter Cronkite or, but hey, that's how it goes. My friend Mikey Pod lands an interview. He's a citizen journalist, he calls himself.
Mikey Pod on the bayou?
Wait, not yet, I changed my mind. And there was a woman who was actually retarded, it turns out, being executed in Texas. Francis Newton. And, Texecuted? Texecuted. And she was going to be executed. I mean, there's that whole question of, first of all, should you execute people? Second of all, should you execute people who are retarded? These are all valid questions. Beyond that, moving on. I'm being heckled. hold on. Monkey Pod does an interview with her mother, okay? Would regular newspapers do this? Would regular media do it? Maybe. Did they? No. No, because they don't want, right, you're shaking your head, no, probably wouldn't because they don't want people to feel like the person being executed is really human. They don't want to hear from a family member. Monkey Pod goes, sits with the mom, and does an interview in a podcast. I'm probably not going to...
Mikey Pod on the Bayou, episode 8.
What a scratchy voice I have today. Hello, this is Mikey Pod on the Bayou. If you're new to the show, welcome. Today I'm doing a kind of no-frills show. I have an interview for you with Jill Nelms, who's the mother of Francis Newton, who is on death row. She is scheduled to be killed on September 14th
Let's see if I get
by the
through
state of Texas.
I believe that she didn't receive a fair trial, and there are a lot of other people who feel the same way. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much explains it. I did a little mini 10-minute podcast a couple days ago.
That's right.
After going to the first meeting, my first meeting of the Committee to Free Francis Newton. And so I met Francis's mom there that night.
It's in here somewhere, I swear.
We talked for about 2.5 hours. I recorded about half an hour of it.
And here's another thing that's unique. I keep cutting it off. I can't shut up. Is that he tells you about the process. You never used to hear about the process with journalism, with media. You'd get the final product, and you'd listen. It sounded good. You're getting a whole new experience now. You're understanding how the journalist thinks, which is really important if you want to understand how they report on things. You know, what's their bias? If you know it, then you know how to decide for yourself what's fact, what's interesting. So again, this is actually a good example of how in podcasting we can talk about the process, just like you can in the text of a blog or even in a video. I'm going to move on because I know I'm pushing it in time. Can somebody... 5? That's funny. Okay. The Macaca was this fantastic thing where... I can't do it now. But U.S. Senator George Allen calls a guy who is of brown skin, who's American, calls him a racial slur during a campaign. Show it. And it was captured... Hey, go back. It was captured on video.
Mikey Pod.
Come on now. And as a result, it got on the blogs, YouTube,
My friends, we're going to run this campaign on positive, constructive ideas. And it's important that we motivate and inspire people for something. So this fellow over here with the yellow shirt, Macaca, or whatever his name is.
Calls him Macaca.
He's with my opponent. He's following us around every...
The guy has no idea what he's doing, and he has a fantastic history of things like racism and fun guy. And he's been a senator forever. And he calls the guy Macaca. It turns out, thanks to blogs who post about it, I'm getting it slightly wrong, but his mom was born in Algeria, French speaker. Growing up, one of their racial slurs for anyone that wasn't white was a macaque, a monkey. And when he points to a guy on the campaign, what word comes to mind out of all the words? Macaca, he calls the guy. The beauty in terms of today's society is that he can't just do that because the blogs, thankfully, and the podcasts and the video blogs, that damn YouTube, if it's not a cat falling off a chair, it's a racist senator. That's YouTube. That should be YouTube's thing. If it's not a cat, it's racist. And as a result, it comes out. The mainstream press wasn't talking about it. They didn't fully understand what happened. The blogs can do it. I mean, that's why we are more powerful. And this is, to me, citizen journalism, pod journalism. Name it what you want. The kid comes on Democracy Now!, which is a beautiful thing, but I'm not going to play it.
Referring
to. This is, I can't show it. This is beautiful. A couple of, let me hold it for a second. In Amsterdam now, you can, as a cop, decide that a certain area of the city, they decide together, is an emergency zone where there's a lot of people. And as a result, in an emergency zone, you can stop anyone at any time and search them. There's no choice. If you're walking into that area and a cop sees you, he will say, I'm going to search you. He says it just for fun because in the end he can just do it. If you say no, he goes, yes. If you say, I'm not going this way, he goes, that's suspicious. Now I can search you. It doesn't happen that often. Myself, I'm pretty quick on the bike. And when I see the cop up ahead, I turn the fuck around. It's not because I'm carrying anything, although I might be. But it's just that I don't feel like getting searched, right? Are you with me? Probably got about 2 minutes, so I'm glad I got that in. It's a very exciting video. They get searched. He was carrying like a good citizen journalist.
Currently, the Dutch police have been granted rights to frisk.
His friend is a lawyer. That helps too. So as they're walking around with the camera, they got a lawyer.
People on the middle of the street De beter no other presumption. Aan de officier van justitie, die geeft ons toestemming om in de gehele binnenstad. Oké, nou dan moet ik weten dat
he's going to search him, and it doesn't fucking matter what he does.
Nee, ik weet ook dat de hele bevoegdheid van de Europese illegaal is. Illegaal is. Juist. Nou, maar goed, die discussie ga ik in ieder geval niet met u aandoen. En dat mag u eventjes niet doen, anders gaat de cameraatje met mij maken.
So I can film my friend.
Waarvan? Hè? Waarvan? Dat ik gefilmd word.
Nou, I'm filming my friend.
Ik vraag nu even uw medewerking, want u bent verplicht hier gewoon aan mee te werken.
Okay.
All my videos have a theme.
I cannot film my friend? No, you cannot film yourself. I can film myself. You can film yourself, but don't play games with me because I'm really pissed off if you're doing this. Why? Yes? What's the matter? Why can't I film myself? Am I clear? Yes, I'm filming myself. Okay, so behave. I'm behaving. Very good. Because I'm really pissed off right now. Why are you pissed off at me filming my friend? Because you are pissing me off with this kind of behavior. Am I clear? Okay. Take it off now. That's okay. Is that okay? My colleague is going to search you for weapons.
The upside down camera is the international symbol for I just got beat up, you know. So the cops take him and search him, and I mean, he comes out and he talks about it a little. And as a result, he comes on my program, we talk about the laws, a lot of people got talking about it. Unfortunately, in this case, I don't have cool news about Dutch ministers. They've kept the policy. I just heard that it's still in effect. They don't do it that much, but it does happen, and this got a lot of attention, oddly enough, with a lot of Dutch people, bloggers, saying, so what? Get searched. You have nothing to hide. The Netherlands is a weird place. I like it, but anyway, this is just an example of what we're doing as pod journalists. We carry the camera, I always have both a camera, that's kind of risky to tell you this, and a recorder, please. Okay, not always, sometimes. And I'm always ready to record what's going on. You know, there's a lot of media out there, I understand that concern, but that's for all of us to figure out how to find these things, how to search for them. I'll skip to the end.
Now just...
Okay, I mean, the prospect and pitfalls are obvious, and the good part that this is at the end and I'm out of time is that the answers are not clear because it's still too early. Let me show you something. Not this. But I have this graphic I really want to show you. Yeah. Okay, it's a red arrow. That's exciting. I've shown you some examples, but when it comes to people doing this kind of work, besides the people on YouTube with their cats and their racist senators, there are not that many out there, and we have to compete with the old media. So let me show you the page in iTunes where I'm listed. Okay, I'll read it to you. There's me. There's Russian NTV right under me. Now, Denise, Week in Law, I think she's actually an independent person, which is cool. She's on her own. Everything else, New York Times, CNN, NPR, cool, CBS, HBO, what the fuck, you know? And there I am, and I have to compete with these people. No, it's not good. No, but maybe my conclusion should be, in fact, no, I should add something else, but this should be filled with independent people. I don't know, maybe they haven't figured out iTunes, which is a shitty system, but it is a system that millions use, and if we can reach the millions instead of ignoring them and calling them dumb, as I think I did during this presentation, which is ridiculous, we have to reach them. I mean, we're all in this together. Catchphrases. But this should be filled, my point is this should be filled with independent people, focusing on different topics, where they live, getting the truth out, because these guys, CNN, CBS, they don't give a fuck. I mean, some people within might, but overall, profit is the motive, and it always will be until something happens that requires them to maybe rethink the whole damn thing. Thanks. I have like 1 minute, is that where I'm at? Okay, big media buyouts, a lot of us are getting bought. I mean, that is a problem. I got bought by Coca-Cola for 1 month. They didn't pay me, so that's the good news, but I have to admit, I did something for Coca-Cola. Forgive me. One of our more famous, beloved Rocket Boom girls now works for ABC. I think this is bizarre. A lot of people think she's doing good work. You decide. But the example is that old media has money, which we don't. That's important. They're not going down without a fight. So BBC is trolling YouTube for people they can hire. They hired the gadget girl. I don't know what her name is, but she got hired. She's going to review gadgets. She used to do it just for fun on YouTube. Now she's been hired by the BBC. ABC buys Amanda Congdon, rocket boom. They're going to buy up who they can. Sometimes that might not be the worst thing in the world because that's a bridge. Some people say Amanda is a bridge to the rest of people to start consuming independent media, pod journalism, whatever. I'm concerned about the buyout. I'm worried. How many what? Truthfully, he's asking how many offers I have to be bought out by mainstream media. I don't think I have any. I'm very good at ignoring things, but I don't really think I have any. But that's the thing. This is not necessarily valued. That's the weird part. Some people think this type of media is important. It's useful. They use it. They write to me or whoever. And some people think this is useless. It is a weird time to exist where what I do is worth a lot and what I do is worth nothing. I mean, that's very hard, actually. People stop listening. That is a fact. I've seen my stats. I can tell this room. It's embarrassing. Last 3 years, my stats have gradually dropped. And I've conferred with other podcasters, so have theirs, especially when their show isn't about Tomcat. And I'm sorry, we love technology, but if it ain't about fucking tech, it doesn't have 3,000 listeners or 30,000 listeners. All you have to do is name your thing the Maccast, and you get like fucking thousands of listeners. But if you name your thing, people are dying in Sudan, you get 10 listeners. I mean, this is the cruel reality of what's going on in the world. And I don't know about you, but I'm terribly disappointed and hoping something changes. I'll finish it up. Punditry, well, it's a danger. They're all dangers. Will it survive? That's my last slide. Will it survive? That's the big question. Some of us have other jobs. We need other jobs to be able to fund this. I recently quit or lost my other job. You decide. I don't know what's going to happen. I know a lot of people have to choose to stop. They get wrapped up in life, the other life that we all had before this came along. It concerns me. Myself, I'm pretty damn dedicated to it. I won't take a job that doesn't give me enough time to do my pod journalism. But some people have to choose. I mean, I don't have any kids. I don't have a house I have to pay for necessarily. Oh, wait. Oh, shit, I'm late on that. Anyway, so it's a big question, and I don't have the answer. There are companies forming that are paying their podcasters, Pod Show, Pod Tech. Is that Scoble's thing? I don't know. And maybe this will work. We don't know. This feels like a second bubble, to be honest. I'm going to start working for the second bubble, I think, in February for a small independent video bloggers company. And the question, did I just say that? Yeah. The question becomes, will this all be here in 4 years, or will my CNNs and the CBSs just push us out as they almost have anyway? Myself, I'm not willing to be pushed out. I think a lot of us aren't willing to be pushed out. I hope we're all still standing, when it's as the years go on. So, in the end, I leave it in your hands, the citizen journalists of the world, the people concerned with the world around you. It's up to you to decide what happens. The end. There's not really time. Thanks. Well, thanks. Is there even time for questions? I'm sorry, the next dude. Yeah, go for it. I'll just yell your question. How about that? We'll be real rebellious. Oh, okay. No dice.
Thank you. So, I'm sorry, but I didn't have so much fun with your presentation.
It's awesome. You have anything else positive to say?
Yeah, but let me be the devil advocate for this time.
Okay.
So it was more like pod comics than pod journalists. And I think information is so complex today. The truth is so difficult to find. So I cannot have fun with your approach. And the term of journalist is a profession, is not only media group. Why is a profession? Because I have a training to process information. I'm not a journalist. I'm just telling you what I think. If you look at the site of Reporters Without Borders and you look at the number of journalists in jail or killed during the last year, you can really realize there is a profession and deserve some respect. Okay, like you said, the media group are not respecting the rules. This is true. The media group, like Murdoch or whatever. But you are not really respecting the rules. When you show this video from this politician in US, you might inform people this was he was captured by a tracker. I mean, someone from the opposite camp of this politician was hired to capture that video and to follow that police station to catch every failure it can have.
I understand, yeah. More information, yeah.
At the end, we benefit of an information which is valuable for the citizen. This is true.
Yeah.
But you might precise the context of information as a journalist. You might inform how you get the information, where the information comes from, your source, and you cross your source and everything. It's why I'm a little bit critic.
Yeah.
I really think people to report information are useful today. Really, really, really. It's why I'm serious with that question, you know? It's not to be just against you.
No, I got it. I was too playful.
I think it's a really important subject. And we have to put what kind of rules. And really to make understand people, there is a need to proceed the information in a good way. Sorry about.
Yeah, I'm just going to let you go without a response, unfortunately. I mean, there's no time. So if you want, I can give you a response, but not now.
Up to you.
The point should flow on its own without me. That's it, yeah? Yeah. Sorry for the lack of response. I don't really think there's time. Huh? No. Respect the schedule.